Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to do a full face of makeup step by step. So I'm going to go in depth of how to do each and every step. So let's just get started. So first things first, it is very important that you first take really good care of your skin, because if you want your makeup to look good, your skin's gotta look good. Now, I'm not saying that if you have acne that your makeup's not gonna look good. No. I dealt with acne and I would wear makeup, and yes, you see texture, but that's just a part of having acne, so don't sweat it. I promise you will look beautiful if you still apply these methods. So I've already applied some moisturizer. I'm starting on a clean base. I washed my face, so we are ready to apply makeup. You never want to apply makeup on dirty skin, so just make sure before you ever apply any makeup that your skin is clean, whether you just use like a micellar water to wipe anything off that's on your skin, or if you actually cleanse it beforehand, you're good to go, okay? So I am gonna apply some sunscreen because it just makes my skin look amazing, and you guys know I do this in every video. It's incredible. This is the sunscreen by Dermatology. It's the broad spectrum SPF 45. Okay, I'm gonna put these cute little clips in I got from Forever 21. Okay, now that we have our clips in, let's get started. So for me, my first step is always eyebrows. So I'm gonna show you guys how I do my eyebrows. I will be doing a separate video on how to actually do eyebrows and like different kinds and different ways to do them, so stay tuned for that also. Okay, so I have many different tutorials on my Instagram of how I do my eyebrows, but I'm just gonna do kind of a quick version of it, and if you want to see the full version, you can head over to my Instagram at beauty_by_Lee, L-I, and I kind of show you every single step, but I'm just gonna use the brow freeze today. So I'm just starting this brushing through my eyebrows, just to kind of shape them the way that I want. I like going for like the brow lamination style. So I'm just gonna use my Benefit brow pencil just to kind of add a little bit of color and shape to them. Okay, so next step, I'm gonna conceal my eyebrows. If you guys watch my videos on the regular, you know I do this literally in every video, but it just kind of makes your makeup look more professional, and I like my makeup to look top-notch. Just a little bit of concealer. And then I start at the base of the brow, work till the tail of the brow. The reason that people do this is also to clean up any mistakes that they made with filling in your brows, because sometimes you can get a little messy with it. I know I do, so that's kind of why we do this also. So next I'm going to use a thick concealer brush, which is like super dense, which is what you want to use to blend out concealer, especially Tarte Shape Tape, because this stuff is thick. I actually have not changed my concealer shade ever. I've only ever changed my foundation shade a million times. So I feel like I finally have a good match with my foundation. It is hard because I do have Raynaud's, which basically affects my blood flow. So if you notice, sometimes my hands are really red or sometimes they're really purple. It just depends on my body temperature. So my neck and my face can sometimes appear a different color than the rest of my body. My hands usually appear more red, which is like when I have foundation on, like my hands will not match my face, and it's just because of that. So if you ever see that, that's why. Okay, so next step, I'm gonna use my foundation. So this is Anastasia Beverly Hills, the Luminous foundation. I love this one. It's lightweight, but it is medium to full, so you can build it up. There's a couple different ways that you can apply your foundation. You can use a beauty blender that's going to give you a lighter coverage, or you can use a brush that's going to give you more full coverage. I think I'm going to go for the beauty blender today. I actually did this, I used to do my makeup like this and I haven't in a while, and I did it yesterday and I loved it. So I'm just going to kind of like smear it on my face. I'm going to start in one area so that it doesn't dry down. So I'm just starting in the corner of my face and just kind of stamping that in. You really want to blend this, and you want to make sure that you blend it down to the neck so you don't have that like harsh line and people will be like, she did not blend that out. So this is just going to kind of give me a lighter coverage, nothing too crazy, just to kind of add some color. Okay, so the key to getting a really good application of foundation is to do the most in the outside of your face, and the least amount in like your T-zone where you usually tend to get oily. You just don't want it to look cakey. So this is just the way that I do it. This is the way that people on YouTube have taught me. So this is just the best way to do it. So let's just start blending this in. I'm gonna avoid my eyebrows right now because I am going to conceal the top of them. But I'll show you how I do that. I actually use foundation to do this because this just gives you a more natural shape to them, and it's not so like 2016 concealer brows, if you know what I mean, because I was there. And again, I'm going to go in with my dense concealer brush, just kind of blend that in so it's not a harsh line. Let's use our beauty blender just to blend that a little bit more so there's no brush strokes. Okay, so next step is contour. I used to do concealer next, but I did mention this in my last video, and I think the video before that, that JLo's makeup artist actually does contour first, just so it doesn't get so muddy. So we're gonna do that today. So I'm gonna use my Anastasia Beverly Hills contour stick. A lot of people are afraid of contour because they're worried that they'll mess it up. You do not need to be worried. If you're still like, I don't want to try that, you can just skip to the concealer stage, but this is just gonna kind of change the bone structure of my face. So it's really simple. It's all about placement, so don't stress yourself out. It's seriously very easy. So you just want to use a little bit on your cheekbones. I just did like 2 dots right there. I'm gonna do a small amount down here because this isn't a liquid, so it's not gonna blend out as smooth as a liquid contour because this is a cream contour. So again, on the other side, I'm just gonna put some here and do 2 dots right here and a little bit right there, not too much. And then I'm gonna do my nose, which you do not have to do, especially if you're new. If you're scared, do not be scared. I literally just followed the bone structure of my nose. If you're trying to make it look thinner and slimmer, you want to just bring the lines in a tiny bit more. I would suggest watching somebody with the same nose shape as you if you're trying to get the correct nose contour, because you don't want to do too thick and you don't want to do too thin. Okay, you see how easy that was? It's literally just following your bone structure. If you want to make your face look a little bit more snatched and slim, just kind of bring the line up a tiny bit. So I just went a tiny bit higher than like my actual cheekbone. My cheekbone's right about here. Yeah, so I just do a tiny bit higher because when you blend it out, you want it to lift your face. So I'm gonna start blending out down here first and then do the rest because we didn't do as much product here. So I just wanna blend that out. So just using a thick, dense brush, this is the Morphe M536. I'm just kind of blending along my jawline. So when you do it here, you don't want to do it too low and you don't want to do it too high. So my jawline's not too bad. So I just bring it like right about here. So let's do right here. So I'm just gonna start here and start pulling up very gently. We're not dragging, we're just going gently. And you just kind of stamp the brush in. And then you can kind of define your cheekbone, so I'm gonna do that. I like doing this because it just makes your cheekbones look so good. And then I just start lightly stamping in the product, not going too crazy. We're not like rubbing like this. We're just gently blending the product in. And then I also like to do the crease of my eye. Just kind of brings it all together. And if you don't like doing the jaw, which I don't do it all the time, you can literally just do this and then bring it down. That and then bring it down. Just to add a little bit of color to your jaw if you don't want to commit to doing like a whole line of contour. So very simple, right? Let's blend out the nose contour and then we'll move on to concealer. So I use 2 different brushes when I do nose contour. I have 2 that I like. I really like this Ulta Beauty Buffing Concealer Brush for my nose. I also like this, this brush by Glow Skin Beauty. You can really use whatever you want. You can even use a brush like this It's all dependent on how you want to blend it out. You can just even use a beauty blender. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna use this one just so it's a little bit more precise. So like I said, I just follow my natural bone structure. I'm gonna use my beauty blender and just kind of blend a little bit. You don't want to do a whole lot because you don't want to remove all that you just did. All right, next step is concealer. So I'm gonna use my Tarte Shape Tape concealer. This concealer is pretty thick, so I just use very little of this. I used to use a lot and it just was a mess. So depending on the coverage of your concealer, you want to use either more or less. So if you have Tarte Shape Tape, less is more. Well, really with any concealer, less is more, but some concealers give you really light coverage. So I'm just gonna use a little bit and just do some right in here and then right here. That was honestly probably too much. And then I just do kind of like a dot in here because I don't like a whole lot going on. And yeah, I guess we'll do a little bit right here. That's kind of fun. So let's blend this out first. So I'm just gonna use my beauty blender. A lot of times I use a brush, but today I'm kind of going for more of a less is more with my coverage. With makeup, it's literally all about placement and all about how you blend it out. So if you know where to place everything and how to blend, then you can literally look like you're a pro at makeup. So I am putting a little bit on my lid because I am going to show you guys how I do eyeshadow also. Just a basic eyeshadow look so you guys can know how to do that since we are doing a full face. Okay, so next up is blush. I'm going to be using a cream blush. This one is by Glow Skin Beauty. I really like using this like light pink cream blush shade. You don't have to use a cream blush. I just really like using one. So I like placing it higher and just blending it out. So I start about right here. And it just kind of helps like lift your face. And this is honestly just the way that I like to do it. You don't have to do it like this. But it just gives you a really like lifting look. It's just so pretty. I take it a little bit into the eye too, as you can see, like the outer corner. So again, I focus it more on the outside of my face and then bring it in. Okay, and I like to do a little bit on the nose also, just like right here. You don't really want to put it, I used to put it on the tip of my nose, but sometimes I feel like it can just look like a little much. That's just what I do. You can do whatever. I mean, this is not end all be all, like you don't have to do everything that I'm saying. This is just what I have learned and what works the best for me and for my clients. All right, so I'm gonna set everything and then we'll move on to eyeshadow. So I'm gonna use my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. I know a lot of people don't use setting powder, and honestly, this is the thing that will make your makeup last all day. And especially if you have mature skin, if you have oily skin, you really want to be using a setting powder. Even if you have combination skin, even if you have dry skin, at least use a little bit. You know, I have combination skin, mine's combo to oily, so I need this. So I'm gonna go in first with the brush, and I'm just gonna tap into here and then take off the rest. And I'm gonna sweep it under my eye because that's just gonna remove any creasing. And again, the other eye. So we're not baking quite yet. We're just kind of setting everything. You really wanna set anywhere that you put concealer, but you especially wanna set areas where you get oily. If you know you have oily skin, you wanna use more powder. Okay, let's move on. We're gonna do brush and bronzer a little bit later. We're gonna do eyeshadow first. I don't know why, it's just kind of what I'm feeling right now, so let's just move on to eyeshadow. Okay, so I'm gonna do a very, very simple and basic eyeshadow look. So this is literally the easiest eyeshadow look you probably will ever see. It's so simple, and it was my go-to when I was learning how to do makeup. I just went with this one. So first things first, I'm gonna use my Modern Renaissance palette. You really just need any palette that has a light brown shade, a dark brown shade, a shimmer shade, and if you want to add more dimension, you can do an even darker brown. So I'm going to be using Raw Sienna, which is your transition / light brown shade, and then I'm going to be using Cypress Umber, which is going to be your darker shade. So I'm also going to be using either Vermeer or Primavera. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna use today, but we'll see. Okay, so first things first, I'm gonna dip into raw sienna. So with eyeshadow, it's very important how you hold the brush, because how you hold it is gonna change the blend of the product. So I keep my fingers towards the middle of the brush. You don't want to hold up here, and you don't want to hold, like, you can hold way back here if you're going for a lighter, softer blend, but holding here and like stamping on is just, it's not gonna blend out great because you just have like a weird hold of the brush, and it's gonna look messy. So again, I just tapped into raw sienna, I tapped off the excess, and I'm just starting in the crease of my eye and just lightly swirling in some color. This is called windshield wiper motion, and then these are just like little circles, and I just blend it up like almost into the eyebrow, just about right into there. And you can even literally just do this, it just adds so much. And then again on this side, and this is the M573. This is my favorite brush. So again, going back and forth between windshield wiper motions and little circles. I think I'm gonna use Vermeer. I used this shade yesterday, and it's just like the perfect shimmer shade. So I just start putting it on the lid, and then I drag it up a little bit, nothing too crazy, and then I bring it out till about like right here, which is like the end of the iris. So using your finger is going to give you the most coverage with the shimmer shade. You don't really want to use a brush because you're just not going to get as much coverage. But if you do like a cut crease, which I might do a video on that too. I know that's not really like trending right now, but I mean, it is so nice to know how to do a cut crease. Okay, yeah. See, you can literally stop here. Again, like after every step, you don't have to keep building, but I like to because it just kind of makes it look more professional, which is what we're going for. Okay, next step, I'm gonna use my R39. I'm gonna go in with Cypress Umber, which is this dark brown shade, and this is like really pigmented, so I just tapped off a lot, and you just want to stamp it on the outer corner. You can honestly do eyeshadow before you do foundation. I like to if I'm doing like a super like full coverage look, but this is just kind of simple. If you're doing like a full coverage, you're gonna be using more product, and then you're gonna get more fallout, so it's gonna be harder to cover up. So just a little bit of that brown, and just kind of blend it into the shimmer. Now we're not going like all the way in, we're just going a little bit, and just kind of use the remaining product and just kind of swirl it in here. And then I'm gonna go in with my M573 with whatever's left on the brush and just kind of blend the edge. And you want to blend them into each other so there's not like a super harsh line. See, so simple. Anyone can do this. Okay, so I'm gonna now bake my under eye, and we're gonna do bronzer and blush. Now, setting and baking are two different things. Setting is just so your Setting is just so your concealer does not crease. Baking is kind of to brighten up the face, and also it helps your bronzer and your blush to just look more professional. It just makes everything look better, honestly. So I'm gonna start right here and then just drag it down the nose, and that's just to kind of highlight where I concealed, and it just kind of makes your nose look slimmer if you do it this way. Let's do up here. So while that's sitting, let's do the under eye. So I'm gonna use a smaller brush. This is the Morphe E36, and I'm gonna go in with the Cypress Umber and just kind of tap off the excess and just start right at the outer corner and just lightly kind of blend under there just to add a little bit of color, and then I blend it into the outer corner here. So we're good to go. I'm gonna wipe off my setting powder now. Okay, and before we use setting spray, let's do some blush and bronzer. So I like doing blush first so it doesn't get mixed in with the bronzer. So I'm gonna use my MAC Cosmetics blush in shade Sweet Enough. And I'm going to use the Morphe E4. So this is actually specifically a blush brush. I'm just going to kind of tap into that, tap some off. And I'm going to start out here and just kind of add some color. And then a little bit on the bridge of my nose. You can also add some on your chin if you want the color to kind of be more cohesive. All right, so next I'm gonna use my Hoola Bronzer by Benefit. I need to get a new one because I dropped this a couple videos ago and it's literally crumbs of bronzer. So I'm gonna use my Morphe, I think this is R14. I've had this for a long time, so I can't really read it. So I like to start on my forehead, especially after I contour, because the forehead is kind of where you don't have a ton of color. So I like to just add some more up here, and then whatever I have left, lightly bring it down here. I don't like to go overboard with it because I don't want it to look like I have 8,000 pounds of makeup on. All right, let's set everything. So I'm gonna use my Morphe setting spray. And you don't want to use a whole ton of that. The purpose of this is it just kind of gets rid of any powder. If you use a lot of powder on your face or powder products, you usually want to use a setting spray. It just gives you kind of more of a dewy appearance, makes it look more natural and just kind of like melt into the skin. This honestly is my favorite setting spray. I've tried the MAC Fix Plus and I used that for years, but this one has more of a mist, whereas the MAC Fix Plus can kind of be more of like a spray, where I like more of a mist. So this is what I love to use. Okay, so for highlight, I'm gonna use the Fenty Beauty Match Sticks in shade Starstruck. So you wanna highlight the tops of your face, so kind of where the sun and the light naturally hits you. So mine hits like right here, and it's gonna be different on everybody. And I like to just do a little bit on the nose, nothing too crazy, and I just blend it with my finger. And then my Cupid's bow. So basically just the high points of the face, anything you want to brighten up. So I like to do the inner corner also. And then the bridge of the eyebrow. So let's do mascara next. So I'm going to use my Voluminous Lash Paradise. This is my favorite one. This is the method that I use. So yeah, that's exactly what I do. I love that just happened. After this dries, you can use a spoolie and just remove it. It's gonna not feel the best, but this is the best way to remove mascara if you get it any place that you don't want it. Just let it dry and then go in, and it literally comes right off. Okay, perfect. Let's try that again now. I start at the base of my lashes. Just go all the way from the inside to the outside. Then I focus on the tips to kind of make them look longer. Let's do the lower lash line. Okay, I'm gonna go fix my hair and then I'll come back and we'll put on a lip. Okay guys, hair's fixed. Let's do lips. So my go-to lip is the Too Faced Melted Matte. I love this. It's just so pretty and it's such a pretty color. It's kind of like a brown pink. So I just take this and I just put some in the middle. And then I like to do an O shape. And I'm gonna go in with my NYX matte lip liner in shade Mason. I use this in every video. It's my favorite lip liner. It's just like a really pretty brown. And I just start up here. And I do my lower lip. And it just looks pretty when you smile. See? Pretty. Okay guys, this is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I so appreciate your support and I hope you guys learned something. If you have any ideas or anything that you want me to film in the future, feel free to comment that or you can message me on Instagram. My Instagram is right here. Please like this video down below and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.